there is the family that you have by birth, and there is also the family you have by love.
If this doesn't end your fairy tale belief that Kamala is black, I give up. What's up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers of the Go Political Channel, coming at you tonight with a follow-up on that video that I posted a couple days ago about Kamala Harris and the Confession, spelled with a K, where we will hear straight from the horse's mouth that she is not black. What? But she doesn't come out and say it straight way. She does it in her usual fashion, in a word salad way where she goes all around Jake's barn. But we clearly get the point that she is not black. And I know this will trigger some people. I just want you to take a deep breath. Exhale. Stay calm. Everything will be fine. Just because I'm speaking critically of your queen, it doesn't mean that I'm saying that she is a bad person or anything like that. And there is a point to this video. I don't hate Kamala Harris. Not at all. No ill feelings here. However, I don't appreciate the racial appropriation. I think what she is doing is worse than what we saw Rachel Dolezal. Yeah, what she did when she was purporting to be black as she headed up the NAACP chapter, or was it in Seattle, Washington, something like that, several years back. Y'all remember that ridiculous story. But what we're going to do is watch the confession, and then we'll talk about it, and I'll tell you why this is significant before you even get a chance to say, well, what difference does it make? Who cares if she's not black or whatever she is? I know that's the next thing that you're going to say, but I'll cover that. I promise you I will cover that. And just know that I'm not doing this to stir up controversy, upset you. For those of you who love Kamala, my wife is voting for Kamala. And we can joke with each other about our politics. Today, she went to Ohio to see both of my nephews playing each other in a college football game. I didn't get to go. And so she had to leave early, and I was hoping that she would forget to stop and do early voting. And so she was laughing because she was telling her brothers that she's hoping that I forget to vote while I'm too busy doing my businesses. So we got a good laugh out of that. And I told her, you forgot to vote. She goes, no, I went yesterday. And so it was good fun, all in good fun. So I don't disrespect my wife or say ugly things because she's not voting my way. And she respects my decision to vote the way I'm voting. And especially because I am the provider. My wife is working as a teacher, but unlike most of the liberal loonies out there, my wife appreciates a man who is a man.
Yay!
Okay? And she married me because she wanted to marry a stand-up man who would be the head of the household and guard and protect her and raise the family and be a leader. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you got some effeminate guys out there who want to marry a woman who will be the head of the household, hey, congratulations. That's okay. I'm not putting you down. But to the contrary, on the other side of that equation, you can't put down a person like me who is 100% okay with being a man. And the fact that that's what attracted my wife to me, because she wanted a man. She wanted somebody who would zip their pants in the front and stand up and be her guardian and give her the world, which is what I've worked hard to do ever since. All right, well, enough of the yip yap. Let's cut on over to Club Dodo Bird. Club Ding Dong. What is it? Club Sha Sha. He had one great show, and that was the Cat Williams show, and it's been garbage ever since. I don't really like I watched Shannon Sharp. I used to watch him when he was with the other dang-a-lang on the sports channel. But I 100% disagree with all of his politics, and this disgusting interview was full of pandering and butt kissing and boot licking. It was disgusting and hard to watch. But anyway, let's get on to it. I'm going to press play here and just let you listen in, and let's see if you can spot the confession, and if you are one of those who say, well, I didn't hear her say she wasn't black. I'll help to explain it to you, because I know those folks are going to come jumping in, bombing in the comments, and that's okay. I'm not mad at you for that. To each his own. All right, here we go. Let's start this video.
You cannot ever be burdened by other people's limited ability to understand who you are. Like, don't let their limited ability burden you about your own ability, you know?
Madam VP, you were raised by a single mom. What did that experience tell you about your mom, and what did it tell you about you?
Well, it told me that one of the things that is precious is to build community and family.
Okay.
Like my mother, she understood that there is a community that she wanted her children to be raised in. And she was very intentional and purposeful about that.
Right.
And so I always say to people, even when I took the stage as the nominee for the Democratic nomination,
Get to the point.
that, you know, there is the family that you have by birth, and there is also the family you have by love.
Oh, pause. Okay, and I'm going to back that up a little bit, and I'm going to play that again, because this is going to be for the hard-headed people. She just made the distinction right there. So for those of you that don't have the IQ to be able to decipher the word salad confession that she just made, she made a distinction that there's two kinds of family. All right? Let's play it one more time, and then I will explain to you what she's really saying by this confession. Here we go.
About your own ability, you know?
Madam VP, you were raised by a single mom. What did that experience tell you about your mom, and what did it...
Madam VP, you were raised by a single mom. Why does he have such a fat tongue? He talks like his tongue is twice the size, even though for such a big man and have a big head, you think his tongue would fit that big head, but it doesn't. It kind of sounds like he got a mouthful of oatmeal, or his tongue is just too big for his mouth. Well, anyway, get back to the question. Here we go. Sorry about that.
Tell you about you.
Well, it told me that one of the things that is precious is to build community and family.
Okay.
Like my mother, she understood that there is a community that she wanted her children to be raised in. And she was very intentional and purposeful about that. And so I always say to people, even when I took the stage as the nominee for the Democratic nomination, that, you know, there is the family that you have by birth, and there is also the family you have by love.
Boom. Family that you have by birth and family that you have by love. All right, so let's explain this for those of you who are not above the IQ level of 75 that can't make sense of this. Birth, family by birth. That means a baby coming out of the womb of another female human being. Which, by the way, only women can have babies. That means you are a genetic product of that woman and another man. That is family by birth. Then you have family by love. So in other words, you love and care for someone that you adopt as your family. I have a nephew that my older sister and brother-in-law adopted my nephew, who I love dearly, when he was like 1 month old. Okay, and he grew up as a part of our family and even grew to kind of look like us. And we loved him from the jump. And so he does not have the DNA of the family, but he has the love of the family. After he turned 18, he got back into contact with his birth mother, who only lives a couple hours away, and they have a good relationship. So he has his birth mother and he has his adoptive mother, which is my older sister. That is the distinction. So when she says that I have my mother raised me with this community value, community, communist. That is the distinction. That is the excuse that is given as we listen to. We're going to go back and listen to just a little bit more of this, and then you're going to know beyond a shadow of a doubt of what is she really saying. She's saying that her blackness is the family of love, not the family of birth. Now, Candace Owens has already crushed it. And the whole community, there's that word again, of people that helped her research on genealogy.com. So no matter how much the deniers want to just trash Candace Owens, oh, she's stupid, what does she know? I had a commenter that said, you better not tell me that your only source is from Candace Owens. Oh my God, I didn't even answer that. Candace Owens and a host of people, including family members of Kamala Harris, all contributed in the research that has been going on, and we have yet to find one African American. There are no African Americans in her family tree whatsoever. They have not yet even found an African. The closest we can get is the Syrian Jew, but that's besides the point. We don't even have to worry about debunking genealogy.com, which is the biggest website and archive of genealogy in the world, all right? We don't have to worry about debunking them. They've got it right. Besides the fact that we have seen copies of birth certificates, we have seen plenty of evidence produced not just by Candace Owens, but a host of people and her family members. But we can put that all to the side with what she's telling us right now, that there is a distinction between the birth family and the family of love. Let's listen to a little bit more.
And they're equally family,
Yes.
right? And I learned that from my mother. So
Equally
my
family.
mother, I had all these aunties and uncles. My Uncle Sherman, who was one of the first black men to graduate from Berkeley School of Law.
So she just explained it. That was the excuse. My Uncle Sherman is black. But she's not coming out and admitting or trying to make a claim that he is related by DNA in my family tree, because she just explained it. You got the family of birth, you got the family of love. So she goes on to talk about her family of love, and that's where the black people are. And that's great. And they probably do love her as family, and that's okay. Maybe she feels comfortable with black culture. That very well could be true. I'm not denying that. I have a friend, her name is Wanda, freckle-faced white girl with red hair, that my family was her, what'd you call it, in the Baptist church when you're growing up and you got someone that comes from out of town or college kids, and we would be their home away from home family. I forgot there's a special word we use in the Baptist church. Post in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. You probably know. Wanda, she talked like this. She was raised up in the inner city of St. Louis. She talked with more of an inner city accent, more of a ghetto accent than I could ever concoct or impersonate, all right? She was as black could be. She had 11 brothers and sisters, and her mother and father adopted her and treated her as their own. So all Wanda knew her whole life was black culture, and that's why she went to Second Baptist Church, my church I grew up with, traditionally Black Baptist Church, and she went to an HBCU, Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. Look it up. Wanda also pledged the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. So she's, but she says, hey, I'm white. I'm a white girl, but all I know is black culture. My family is black, and that's all I can relate to. I don't relate to white culture. But she says it herself. I am white. Yeah, my DNA is white, but I'm black. Okay? But what Kamala is doing is the reverse here. So she's not black, and she's saying it, but her family of love, her adoptive family, all right, are black people, and that's what she's clinging to. So let's hear her talk about Uncle Sherman.
who, when we were young girls, sat us down and taught us how to play chess. Because Uncle Sherman said, you need to understand how the chessboard works because that's the way the world works. They're going to be different players with different moves.
Okay, I'll bet you $1 million that her Uncle Sherman never said that. She just makes up stories, and you can tell when she's making stuff up. She likes to bring up and make up stories just to argue the principle of things. I grew up with people, friends, who would repeat stories that they made up in their mind because that's what they wanted to have as memories. That's what they wanted to have growing up. But these things, these experiences never really existed. But they repeat it to the point where they believe it. And to them, it's the principle of the matter. Well, what if I really did grow up with an Uncle Sherman that was teaching me chess and told me that this is how the world works, and you have to know that different people have different moves and powers and strategies, and you have to know how to manage the pawns and the kings and the queens and the rooks and the bishops. That's her whole life. It's all make-believe. It's all make-believe, but I don't discount the fact that she probably does relate to black culture. Let's listen to a little bit more because I can't stomach this.
And you need to see the whole board.
Mm-hmm.
My mother raised us around, like my Auntie Chris, who went to Howard in the 50s and pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. And she was one of my incredible role models growing up. And that was one of the big reasons I wanted to go to Howard University and pledge Alpha Kappa Alpha.
You know, that might be
Those are
true,
some of the
but
less-
okay, I can't stand any more of this. That might be true, but you know what? It's so funny that like when she's trying to talk about her background, her black accent just sounds forced, okay? I get a lot of people telling me, Carlton, you sound white. I remember when I got my first job, second job actually, I was at the Department of Natural Resources, and companies, facilities, other agencies would call me up, talk to me on the phone, and then they'd meet me in person. Oh, I thought you were white. You sound so white. And I used to get so put off like that. I'm like, oh, what do you want me to do? Like, hi, my name Carlton Flowers. This the Department of Natural Resources. How do you sound black or sound white? That used to offend me all the time. But I'm a product. The way I talk is a product of where I spent most of my life, which is Central Missouri. I was born in Chicago. And I have educated parents who speak very eloquently. Okay, so I don't sound ghetto. But I don't try to force it. It kind of seems like, well, with this lady here, she tries to throw on a little extra sauce, and sound ethnic, and it doesn't work. Sometimes, I'll like one phrase we use, I'll say, well, I be done, didn't even know it. There's a little bit of ebonics. It's like my mom and it's proper, she talks, and even my dad, they say traditional black things that came from the Deep South, Mississippi. There are certain phrases that they still use, okay? My dad passed away 3 years ago, but certain phrases that, they're not faked. And I sometimes I'll say stuff, even in a video, like I said something like, they ain't begot nothing. I said something crazy. I had to laugh when I watched it back because I was like, oh my God, that sounded like so ebonics. But I wasn't, it comes out sometimes naturally, and I'm not trying. I'm just being myself, okay? I'm not going to like try to sound blacker so people think I'm black. I don't care what people think of me. People get my race wrong or whatever, and I'm not trying to impress anybody. The older I get, look at my hair. Look how straight it is. I'm going bald. Look at my skin's fading a little bit. But I know I'm black. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to put on a little extra ebonics to prove to people or impress people or try to relate because I'm black. I'm going to talk the way I'm going to talk, and if you don't like it, I don't care. I don't care. I don't have to prove anything. I got called a jigger, replace the J. If I had a nickel for every time I got called a jigger growing up in Holt Summit, Missouri in the country, man, I'd be a millionaire today. All right. So there's no question in my mind. As many times I've been called porch monkey, saucer lips, spear, chucker, jigger. Oh man. I went through stuff. I've got thick skin. Okay, that's why I laugh at all of the sensitive liberals, especially like the Puerto Rican comment from the that dumb comedian at the convention or at the rally. We'll get into that on another video. But I had thick skin, and I'm not a victim because, I pledged reality. I did pledge a black fraternity in college, but I pledged reality. And my dad taught me how to be tough. But anyway, all that to say, I don't have to put on like she does when she's trying to sound blacker. Well, not blacker than what she is, 'cause she's not black, but
Lessons that I've learned from my mother, and I try to also share with people, right? Which is the beauty of community, and it's the way I am, right?
oh yeah, the beauty of community. I can't stomach it. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Well, anyway, let's get to the point that I made. I mentioned at the beginning that I'm going to tell you why this has significance, why it's not just a nothing burger or why are you bringing up race? Doesn't matter what she is. Well, it is important. Here's the reason why. The Democrats are pushing people like me, saying that I should be expected to vote for her because she's black. Okay. Well, first of all, she's not black, and then I'm expected to support her, and I can't criticize or say anything because supposedly, because she's cosplaying a black person, right? So I'm supposed to only vote a certain way because my skin is a little darker than, the average white person, right? So that means that because I've got melanin in my skin, I can't be for lower taxes on business owners. I can't be for shutting down the border. I can't be for having morals in society. I have to agree with transgender changing surgeries for illegal immigrants who are in prison. All because I've got this melanin in my skin. So scientifically, I don't understand the connection between the fact that I have this melanin, which came from my parents' DNA. How do we make a connection between the scientific fact that I have this African trait and I'm supposed to have certain policies and beliefs of a certain party that I have to support just because this melanin is here? I don't know. Now, let's rub some salt into the wound. All right? Into the wound. What did I just say? Okay, forget that. I got to go back and erase that. Here's the interesting thing. So not only am I supposed to support her because I'm black and because she's supposedly black, her actions don't match up with the family of love blackness. Okay, I'll give her that. If she loves black culture, great. That's great. I'm not mad at you for that. That's all right. You do have an Uncle Sherman, whatever. But they obviously didn't teach you how to make collard greens. Uncle Sherman wasn't around the day they were cooking greens. All right, well, anyway. So your actions. She says that legislation that passes that can help black Americans will help everyone in general, because if you lift up the poor, you're lifting up everyone. And then she goes on to say, of course, I'm not ever going to pass legislation that specifically benefits black people. Okay. But she talks out of both sides of her neck, because in 2022 and 2023, you can view the Pink Book Lessons video on it. I'll link it below. Pink Book Lessons, outstanding channel. Shout out to this young black woman who speaks her mind. Yay! And also diverges from the belief system that if we have this melanin, we're supposed to vote for Democrats. She will explain to you how Kamala and sleepy Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe Biden, if you can't figure out who to vote for, me or Trump, well, you ain't black. Jim Crow Joe Biden. They handed over $26.4 billion. $billion, very, very large number. Lots of money. That's a whole lot of money. Tremendous amount of money there to the AAPI, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, who, ironically, a lot of them are rejecting Kamala. There's a video out that I might have to do a reaction on, where you're going to see tons of Asians who are rejecting Kamala and communism. But anyway, they got $26.4 billion in the form of no bid contracts and set-asides. If you don't know what that means, it means that you don't have to bid on a government contract. It's handed to you on a silver platter, and there's no competition. All right? That's not fair. So if you're telling me you're going to bring up all the poor and any legislation that helps black people helps everyone in general and you don't need anything specific, then why are you specifically handing over $26.4 billion to Asians and Pacific Islanders? Where was the excuse for that? That was specific. And interesting that 50% or more of your lineage is Indian, okay, Asian Indian. And $26.4 billion of the free contracts that you gave out during your term here is to the people who you share the family of birth, but not your family of love. So here you made the distinction. The family of love, the one you love so much that you decided to pledge Alpha Kappa, Alpha sorority, a black sorority. You decided you loved this culture and this family so much, you went to an HBCU, but you handed the $26.4 billion to your family of birth. Now, have I completely crushed any argument that discussing Kamala Harris's racial background is insignificant? I believe I've crushed it all. But of course, there will be some nut jobs coming in the comments, and I probably won't answer because I'm tired, guys. I can't answer every whack job out there, and the worst ones are black people. You know, oh, you hate black women, you ain't black, you're a token sellout, whatever. And it's good Lord, it's exhausting to see black people go off on me and call me a token sellout, coon, whatever, because I'm not supporting the new Rachel Dolezal. Can you make sense out of that? No, you cannot. But that's all I've got. You know what? I got to ask you a favor. I got to ask you to like and subscribe, but I got to ask you to tell your friends about the channel because I'm trying to rebuild the base. You know, we got nearly 8,000 subscribers, but there's like 7,000 that aren't real subscribers because they're only here for the Tiffany Henyard Freak Show. 1,000 of you are here with me for the right reasons. Politics in general, not for the Tiffany Henyard Freak Show. Will I serve up more Tiffany Henyard Freak Show tea? Yes, I will, because I'm going to have Paul Roberts come on, and I've got another person that I'm going to be interviewing on the Dalton and Thornton Township situation. But can you help me out a little bit to find other people who will appreciate my insight and coverage of politics and trying to help bring people together and make sense of the nonsense and craziness that goes on? Help find other people that are not afraid to be black conservatives or people who stand up for conservatism. I don't want to be like the echo chambers. I try to understand the other point of view, the other side, and I'm not going to just completely bash you. So you can tell the way that I go about things is a little bit different, but I would really appreciate it if you would tell a friend. And let's grow this nice and slow, the easy way, because I love doing this and I want this to be a career. All right. So thank you in advance. I got so much more for you. I'll be shooting some short videos tomorrow when I go to St. Louis with no editing. That's all I got for now. This is Carlton Flowers, and I am out.